Here she is, fresh from her own asteroid belt. Janet Kuypers. I like my asteroid belt so much I had to call the Kuyper belt.
Hi. Now once again,
I thought one of the pieces I was going to read in this was small type, so I'm borrowing my husband's jacket, so I thought if I need to, I could borrow his glasses. Anywho, I'm going to read to you a couple of poems from this book from past performance art shows. Hi, happy smiles. This is called Chapter 48, Volume 1. It is in a 18, 20, 30, 40 series of books in different volumes. Ta-da. And I would like to read it's from different performance art shows, and this one was from one on Loyola Beach in Chicago, and it's called Too Far. When he met me, he told me I looked like Kim Basinger, long blonde locks. But this time around, I knew I wasn't her, and I could never be her, and I was never good enough, thin enough, pretty enough. So I got a perm, I straightened my teeth, I bought the Wonder Bra, but that wasn't doing the trick. So I decided that I would exercise, and I bought Slim Fast, and I used a stair stepper. I ate race cakes and wheat germ, but I wasn't thin enough. I only dropped 20 pounds. You're missing the point. I love you for that one. But I only dropped 20 pounds. So then I decided I'd go to the spa. I'd get my skin peeled, soak myself in mud, wrap myself in cellophane, bought the amino acid facial creams, but I knew they didn't really work. So I went to the doctor, and I got my nose slimmed, my tummy stapled, my thighs sucked. Thought about getting a rib or two removed. You know, like Cher. But I figured a rib, they're gonna be there for something. And hey, that's just going too far. I think you're getting the point of the poem. I'll just, think of removing a rib because that's how much we have to worry about. Looking appropriate and good enough, thin enough, pretty enough, right? So, this one was from a show called Getting Wired. It was at a Starbucks. And it is called Phone Calls from Brian Tolle. I came home the other day from work and I found 3 messages on my answering machine. Each was nearly 2 minutes long. They were all from my friend Brian, who lives in Indiana and he's working on a film. Now, Brian is a friend of mine from high school. In fact, I asked him to go to prom with me as friends, but he turned me down saying he wanted to save the experience of a prom with somebody he was actually dating. But that was like 8 years ago. I went to prom anyway without him, but I still think it would have been more fun if he was my date. So I got home the other night and I had these 3 messages on my machine, and they were all for Brian. And I listened to the first one, and he says, I'm sorry I haven't called you in so long, and I hope you don't hate me because I love you, and I've moved, and that's my roommate that you hear in the background. I think you've met him before, but he knows who you are, and he hears your voice in my answering machine, and he thinks you have a sexy voice. And then he says, oh, but I really hope that you don't hate me because didn't mean to not call. It's just a lot going on right now. And I have a new email address, so write to me, and I love you, and I hope you're not mad at me, and I might be coming to visit you in Chicago. Well, anyway, call me if you don't hate me, and I love you. That was one of the messages. And then I listened to the second one, and he says, hi, it's me again. I forgot to give you my new phone number since I just moved, and so here it is. And did I tell you that I'm making a film? I'm really doing it. I've scraped enough money together, so I'm going to actually go into the beginning of the March, and I will see if I can get more money. You said you didn't know this before, but I wanted to make sure. Well, call me. And that was the second message, and then I listened to the third one. And he says, hi, it's me again, and I just wanted to get back to you and tell you that, yes, I'd love to go to prom with you. I'd wear my tuxedo, and I'd get the tie and the cummerbund that matches your dress. Yes, I'll go to prom with you. Well, I guess that's about all. I hope you're not mad at me, because I love you. I really do. Don't hate me. I'll talk to you soon. And so I called him back and I told him, no, I don't hate you. I love you too. And that we all have busy lives. And I understand why you haven't called. I haven't called either, so don't worry. Tell me about your film, I ask. And he says that he's borrowed some money and saved some money from the last job. And he's borrowing equipment so that he can actually do the filming. I have the production costs taken care of, but I have no idea where the post-production money is coming from. What are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe I can get some credit cards. Maybe you can see if there are some companies that'd be willing to use a tax deduction and they would be willing to help you finance your film. Well, so we talked for a bit about this, and I told him that I wish I could help him out more. And he says that I have, because I validate him in what he does and everything I say. And although he has no money, he feels like he finally has control over his life. And that now he knows that no matter what he chooses to do with his life, no matter what happens to him, that he has control over his life and he can handle anything. And I told him that I was so glad he felt that way, because I think most people never get to feel that way once in their life. I was proud of him. And then he asked if he could use a song of mine in his film, and I told him I would be honored. And he said, no, he'd be honored. I guess it's just nice to hear that I'll be such a small part for such an important film. And I thought that I would share a new poem with me because I get to write a poem a day. And because somebody asked me about it, and I don't need these glasses on. Yesterday was Texas Independence Day. Yeah, and I knew that, and so I'm like, oh, holy cow. I'm with John at the gun range, so it seems so ultra-fitting that I would write a poem for Texas Independence Day. And it's called Each Trigger Pull. Once I got to the gun range today, I saw that the rifle range was closed and learned that a real estate company is considering buying the land that is just past the range. So they got an injunction, a court order, to stop the gun range from firing guns toward the extended land. I'm not sure if they actually found any expended bullets or casings out there, and as far as I know, no one has bought the land yet. So now they just sit and wait. The way the Republic of Texas waited 9 years to be a part of the United States of America after claiming their independence on March 2nd, which happens to also be the birthday of Sam Houston, who led Texas to victory over Mexico in the Battle of San Jacinto. Which may be a reason why these Texans seem to have a stronger attachment to their guns than a lot of other states, because they know far too well from their own history how vital it is to embrace these firearms to preserve their lives. That may be something other states in this union have forgotten. We can turn a blind eye to violence and think it will never touch us, when it probably is lurking just around the corner, and no one knows it. As I sit here in one of the bays at this gun range now, I now wear protective eyeglasses and ear mufflers, ear gear with enough force to protect my ears and enough pressure to crush my skull. Watching the smoke from every shot rise from the gun in front of me, I can still hear the 9mm pistol and rifle shots fired in our bay and the AR-15 shots fired in the bay next door. Each trigger pull releases a thunderous boom, and it almost reminds me of fireworks here on Texas Independence Day. The noise is something that seems so strong, but really, like fireworks, it is only something that reminds me of celebration and celebrating. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet.
Thank you.
I took Texas history in college. I wound up as a history major. I was biology.